What's up, guys? Kurt here with Kurt's Card Care, and I want to walk you through the Trae Young Flawless. I posted some photos last night of the ding that I'm working on this card, and it's reducing a bit. It was pretty nasty, so I still got some work to do, seeing if I can get it any better. It was real bad, so hopefully we can improve it and a little bit more. And there was a ding on that edge up there on the top, and the corner was a little turned up. So I got the corner working with me. Rest of the card is perfect. The back looks great. So the main issues we had there were the indents. And to give you guys a reminder, this card was a 8 corners, 7.5 surface. So here's where the science part comes in. I'm in Michigan, and you guys have seen me probably use my straw technique where I'll breathe some warm air on corners to get a little humidity in there so the card's a little bit easier to work with. If you're in a dry environment, the cardboard is going to be dry and it's harder to move. And if you're pushing on dry, tough cardboard, you could easily leave dents. You could make it worse than better, okay? So my job is to make you guys awesome at this stuff. So here's my technique, guys. I put the penny sleeve on top of the card, and I do little, just baby circles on the indent. I don't do this for longer than 5 minutes at a time. The indent is going across, so I'll also run up and down the ridge, very gentle, and then hold the tool perpendicular and just do little circles. I won't do it for 5 minutes, but that's the technique I do. And then I'll let the card sit in the atmosphere. So now, speaking of the atmosphere, this is what I want to show you guys. As I shared, I live in Michigan, the place where you can have a different season every single day. It could be 80 one day, it could be 30 the next day. The relative humidity goes up and down. So you got to have some consistency when it comes to the environment. So the way I do that, guys, is a couple ways. I keep my card studio at 71, 72 degrees at all times. I have a humidifier in here, keeping the humidity, the relative humidity in the room right around 55%. And now that it's going to be getting cold in here, I need to have the ability to keep a card at about 55-60% humidity before you can work on these. So like, here's a couple tools that I use. So let me take you for a little tour here. So this right here, you guys, is a humidor. It's for cigars, but I use it for cards. And I have it at right now about 64%. So I'll put the Trae Young in there for 15-20 minutes, let the card get a little humid, and then I'll work on those dings and dents. And it just really helps versus working on a dry card. If you live in a warm environment or a warm place, it's probably not that big of an issue. Like if you're on the coast or something, you probably always have a nice humid area to work. But the humidifier and the humidor are a big help for me here in Michigan. You got to be careful when you're working with a humidor because you don't want to leave a card in there all day long. It could, you don't want to keep the cookies in the oven all day is the metaphor, So like, if you put a thin card in high humidity for a long time, you're going to get that curl to it. So just be careful. But if you if you have a nice humid room that you work in, do a little bit of, edge work right there, or corner work or surface work, and let the card sit in the atmosphere. A lot of times my methodology is just to get it a little bit massaged and let the air kind of bring the card back to its natural place, okay? So to also help me with that, besides the humidor, is I always keep my room, like I said, at 71%, or at 71 degrees. And then we'll go over here. And this is the humidifier that I have, and I keep this at 54% in here. So my card room also doubles as a studio for my instruments, okay? So you got to keep your instruments with the proper humidity, or you're going to screw them up. And really, guys, the same thing applies to cards. I know that might sound a little crazy, but it works great. I had comments this morning of people saying, you must be using some sort of external heat gun or something like that. Don't ever do anything like that, guys. Dry heat is dangerous. A little bit of moisture and a little bit of, the proper air will do the job, all right? So clearly it's still on there a little bit, but if you guys looked at the before pictures, it was bad. So I hope this helps. There's a little bit of science that goes into it. So the technique, just little tiny circles on it, almost like you're massaging it, almost like you're using an eraser on a pencil. but you don't press hard, just very gentle, because if you press hard, you're gonna make a dent, all right? So don't dent it. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Use your penny sleeve, and then if you're in a inconsistently, you know, atmospheric place where the humidity goes up and down every day, you might want to be able to control that and just use a humidor. I used this one and it was 20 bucks off Amazon, so well worth the money, and when it can help you guys restore dings and dents. So everything I do, you guys, is based on wanting to be able to have you be able to replicate it. So there's nothing that I ever want to work on cards and blow you away with and be like, you know, only I know how to do it. So I just really use the atmosphere, use humidity, and then take your time and use your patience and practice, practice, practice. So those are my tips for the day, guys. I think this is about as far as I'm going to probably be able to get this one. I might do a couple other sessions throughout the day to see if I can get that to lesson, but much better than when we started. And what I'm all about is improvement. So I feel that we made a nice improvement on this one. So I hope this helps. Thanks for everything, like always, and I will talk to you very, very soon. I'm Kurt with Kurt's Card Care.